Before we get into today's episode, I'm curious, have any of you guys ever gotten a message from a business coach that was super long and super drawn out? So a random business coach DMs you on Facebook or on Instagram and sends you the super, super long message that's really drawn out, basically pitching their entire program, right? They're just like letting you know that they're a business coach that can help you grow their business and you need to focus on XYZ and XYZ, right? So a lot of us have, as online coaches, get these like super long drawn out messages from business coaches. Have any of you guys ever gotten a cold DM from a stranger trying to sell you like a shout out or anything other random? Like you've literally never talked to this person in your life, and the first thing that they say in their message to you is they're trying to sell you like a shout out, or they're trying to sell you something like in the DMs. Have any of you guys ever gotten that message, right? How annoying is that? Like when we get somebody that's a complete and total stranger that sends us this like big long message on Facebook or Instagram, trying to sell us something. This podcast is going to shed some light on why it's super annoying. I also want to help you guys avoid the trap of trying to turn strangers into buyers, because there's way too many of us as online coaches that are trying to meet somebody for the first time online and within 24 hours try to convert them into a buyer. I also want to prevent you from being super spammy and sending unwanted messages, and I want to help you land online fitness clients. All right, so the purpose of this episode is to teach you guys how to land online fitness clients. You guys excited? Let's go. So in the 10K Coaching Academy, we actually teach our clients not to ever send out cold DMs to complete strangers. I've heard of some coaching programs that literally teach you like send out 100 cold messages every single day to people that you don't know from Facebook groups or friends lists. I actually like hate doing that. To me, I really, really don't like when a complete stranger sends me a cold message on Facebook and Instagram and just like tries to sell me something. I really don't like it. The only time, I'm going to caveat this and like add a hedge, the only time that I will recommend doing it is when I'm inviting them to join like a challenge or something like that. And anytime I invite somebody to join a challenge, it'll be like a super short sentence. If you're in the 10K Academy, it's the sentence in the DM script for the 14-day challenge. Other than that, I tell my clients not to send out cold DMs to complete and total strangers, because you're gonna know why from this podcast. So let's get into the 5 different levels of leads. All right, 5 different levels of leads. So the first level of a lead is a complete stranger. So if you guys are taking notes, write this down. The 5 levels of leads. The first level of lead is a complete and total stranger. So a complete and total stranger is somebody who has never heard of you before ever. An example of a complete and total stranger on the internet would be, let's say you're trying to lead gen from hashtags. So you search up like a weight loss hashtag, whatever, and you're trying to lead generate from hashtags. Those people literally have no idea who you are. Like they've never seen your content before. They've never seen your name pop up on Instagram before. Another example of a complete and total stranger would be somebody you find in a Facebook group, right? So you're in the same Facebook group and you find them in a Facebook group and you try to like get them on a call, or you try to sell them something. That's a complete and total stranger. Another example of a complete and total stranger on the internet means somebody who is not on your friends list right now. So it's literally like a complete and total random on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, somebody that's not on your list. Also, a complete and total stranger is the barista at the coffee shop that you go to. A complete and total stranger is somebody walking past you on the street and the cashier that serves you at the grocery store. Online coach, you will have just as much luck trying to sell the barista at Starbucks, your coaching program, as you will trying to sell a lead from a hashtag. You will have just as much luck trying to sell the barista at Starbucks, your online coaching program, as you will trying to sell a lead from a hashtag. It just does not work. This is exactly why you hate getting cold messages from business coaches on Instagram that you've never heard from before. Because like nobody likes being sold something from a complete and total, nobody likes it. Like literally, just imagine. I want you guys to imagine you walk up to the barista at Starbucks, basically telling her that she's fat and that she needs your program, and you give her a business coaching card or a fitness coaching card, and you're like, you should join my fitness program. It's fucking awesome. I'll help you lose 10 to 15. Like it's the completely wrong approach. So online coaches, if you're going into Facebook groups right now and friending people and then trying to sell them something immediately, It's just like walking up to the barista at Starbucks and asking her if she wants to lose body fat. It's the wrong approach. Online coaches never go to hashtags or groups with the intention of selling somebody, or you'll be just as annoying as the business coaches who slide into your DMs and are like, hey, like, I can help you grow your coaching business. Like, would you like to learn how to make $50,000 in 30 days? Like, it's just as annoying. So don't do it to other people because we don't like when it's done to us. So don't try to sell to complete strangers. The first level of lead is a complete and total stranger. The second, number two, the second level of lead is a cold lead. All right. So the second level of lead is a cold lead. Now, a cold lead is somebody who is in our network, but isn't engaging with our content. So it's somebody that's like on our friends list, or somebody that might be in our public Facebook community, or somebody that's on our LinkedIn connection, or somebody that's following us on Instagram, but they're not engaging with our content. That's a cold lead. A cold lead is somebody who we've recently friended on Facebook. So if you go into a Facebook group, you find a complete stranger, you friend them, and they accept your friend request and they come onto your friends list, that's now a cold lead. A cold lead is also a new follower on Instagram. And for those of you guys that are using Facebook ads, I know that I don't teach it in my course, but I also did put this in here. A cold lead is somebody who responds to a Facebook ad, because a stranger is somebody who's on the internet who sees our Facebook ad. But if somebody actually takes that next step and engages with that piece of content, that person now becomes not a stranger, but a cold lead, okay? Now, I want you guys to think about something for a second, right? I want you to imagine your best friend right now, right? Your best friend in the world. At some point, your best friend was just somebody that you met. And it took time to build that relationship with that other person. At some point, your best friend was just somebody that you met. Maybe you went to the same school together. Maybe you worked together. It took time to build that relationship. Now, online coaches, in order for somebody to purchase your program, as in become your client, as in pay you money, they need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. In a previous podcast, I talked about how booked calls come from building relationships. With cold leads, if you guys want to learn how to sell your cold leads, then you need to work on warming them up. Because most of you guys, most online coaches, what they'll do is most people are like hunting for that money, right? So somebody will friend them on their friends list and instantly we're like, oh yeah, like now I'm going to book a call with that person. But it's like, for those of you guys that have tried to book calls from people that come from Facebook groups, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're more likely to cancel because they don't know you. They don't like you yet because they don't know you, and they definitely don't trust you because even though they booked a call, it's still a call that's coming from a cold lead. So a cold lead is somebody that you do not have a relationship with. Your process with cold leads shouldn't be to get them on the phone and sell them, because that's trying to take them from cold to the fifth level of lead, which we'll talk about in a minute. Your process with a cold lead is you want to work on warming your cold leads up and getting them warmer, right? You want to get your cold leads warmer. So the second level of lead is a cold lead. First is a stranger, second is a cold lead. The third level of lead, if you guys are taking notes, you should be writing these down. The third level of lead is somebody who is a warm lead. Now, a warm lead for me is somebody who DMs you on Facebook or Instagram. A warm lead is also somebody who likes our photos or comments on our photos on Instagram. A warm lead is somebody who watches and engages with our stories on social media. For me, you guys, like the way that I view this is like if you're running an online coaching business and your Instagram is all about fitness content, fitness motivation, your fitness story, if somebody's engaging with that content, they fuck with your message on some level. They're like lightly interested in you and what you have to do and who you are as a person. Otherwise, they wouldn't engage with your content on social media. They wouldn't like you, they wouldn't follow you, they wouldn't like you. Somebody who's engaging with your content is also saying that they lightly fucks with you, right? Now, this for me is like, I personally love warm leads the best, because these are people who they might be interested in you, but they're not 100% sold on you. Now, online coaches, a lot of you guys, unless you have an Instagram following of like 500,000 people, which is maybe one or two of you guys listening, you won't have a lineup of people that are looking to apply for your program. You're just not going to have a lineup of people that are like going to be like, please, like coach me. I really, really want to work with you, because that we're way past that with online coaching. With online coaching, we're way past that point. Most of your warm leads will interact with your content and like your photos on social media and reply to your stories, this is people telling you that they're lightly interested in you, in what you do and your product. It doesn't mean that they're going to purchase off of you. Like, just because somebody's engaging with your content doesn't mean that they're going to purchase off of you, but them engaging with your content is them telling you that they fuck with you on some level. So a warm lead is where most of your business is going to be, online coaches. Now, the reason that most of you guys miss your warm leads is because you're waiting for level of lead number 4. Okay, so we've got stranger, we've got stranger, cold lead, warm lead, and then the 4th level of lead is hot leads. This is the 4th level of lead. Most online coaches, the reason that they're failing or struggling in their business is because they're waiting for hot leads. Now, a hot lead is this. A hot lead is somebody who hits us up and says like, hey, Brian, thanks so much for all of your content that you put out on social media. Like, I'm really looking for help growing my coaching business. That's a hot lead. A hot lead is somebody that's also a referral from a client. So if you're currently working with a client that's getting amazing results and that client refers another client to you, that's a hot lead, because obviously your client talked about you to this person. So obviously you're like, that person knows that you're a good coach. Otherwise they wouldn't have been referred. A hot lead is somebody who like literally applies for your program. Like if you got your application in your bio, that's a hot lead. Now with hot leads, you guys, you need to spend less time like focused on building the relationship and more time cutting to the fucking chase. More time booking the call with the lead as fast as possible. Guys, every single lead that you guys are working with has a temperature, right? And this is the best temperature to be in for lead generation for your coaching business. This is also the one that most of you as online coaches just sit back and like wait for. You're just like hoping that there's going to be a hot lead that comes to you today and they're just going to beg you to work with them in your online coaching program. That's not how this works. Hot leads are literally maybe 10% of your business as an online coach. Maybe 10. Literally, I'm going to say like maybe 10% of your business. The other 90% of your potential business are made up of strangers, cold leads, and not strangers. The other 90% of your business are made up of cold leads and warm leads. And you need to get better at turning cold leads into warm leads and then warm leads into hot leads. That's what you need to be focusing on, is how do I move people up the levels? How do I take somebody from stranger to cold lead? So how do I take somebody from like a Facebook group and bring them into my network, right? That's turning a stranger into a cold lead. Then once they're in my network, how do I warm them up and how do I give them so much value that they become interested in my service? They start engaging with my content. Now they're a warm lead. And then once they're engaging with my content, how can I take this to the next level and get them to a hot lead? So what do I need to do to really like warm this lead up? Do I need to run a challenge? Do I need to give them an ebook? Do I need to go live? What is it that I need to do to take somebody who's like lightly interested in my service to fully committed in my service? And then once they're a hot lead, the next level of lead, the 5th level of lead, is a buyer. Now a buyer is somebody who walks through the temperature of leads from stranger to cold to warm to hot and then becomes a buyer in your program. Somebody that actually purchases your program, somebody that spends money on you. Most of you guys make 2 big mistakes. These are the 2 biggest mistakes that most online coaches make. Number 1 is you wait for hot leads. So you're just like, please, I hope somebody applies for my program today. Like, I really hope somebody sends me a big, long message about how they want to work with me. Or I really hope that I get a type form. That's mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is realizing that there's not a lineup of people working for you. So then you go to complete strangers on social media, like Facebook groups and hashtags, and you try to sell those strangers. Those are the 2 biggest mistakes that I see online coaches make, which is why in the 10K Coaching Academy, we teach you guys that, like, obviously you want to warm your leads up, like you want to get hot leads, but if you've got warm leads, you want to engage with them. So you want to build a relationship with people that are in your audience. And you also need to be running challenges so that you can take people that are on your friends list, warm them up so that they become buyers. Does this make sense now? Do you guys understand why we do challenges? It's so important. Because a challenge is going to allow a lead to really get to know you as a person. They'll get to know you, like you, and trust you. And then once they know you, like you, and trust you, you've planted the seed for them to eventually become a buyer if they choose to hire a fitness coach. Now, with these 5 levels of leads, stranger, cold, warm, hot, and buyer, as an online coach, you need to be constantly progressing in the sales process. And if you're not progressing, you're moving backwards, okay? So you need to be moving forward and warming the lead up. And if you're not warming the lead up, the lead is going to cool off. You need to constantly progress. What you need to be thinking about, online coach, is like, how do you get this lead to the next level? So if somebody's a stranger, how do you get them into your network? And then when somebody's in your network, how do you warm them up to the point that they want to become a buyer, right? That's what you need to be thinking about. How do you get the lead to warm up, become more open, start sending you longer messages so that they'll be more likely to purchase your program? Now, in terms of like moving people up the ladder, there are 3 big mistakes that you can make. So these are the 3 things not to do when it comes to move. By the way, is this valuable so far? Are you guys getting value? I just want to check in for value. Make sure you guys are still following along. If you are still following along, just give me a head nod if you're listening to the podcast. If you're tuning in, drop a fire emoji. Let's see it. So the 3 biggest mistakes that you can make when moving people up the ladder of lead generation and like taking it to the next level, 3 biggest mistakes. Number 1 is taking way too long to respond. Guys, recency is fucking everything. Recency is fucking everything. So if you have a lead that messages you that says, I'm super interested in working with you in your coaching program, right? I'm super interested, like, you know, I love what you're doing, et cetera, and you take 48 hours to respond, you just effectively cooled that lead off. That was you, not them. There's nothing that's it. That was you, okay? So if you take too long to respond to your leads, the leads will cool off. That will go from they'll go from hot to warm to cold. It'll be hard to book a call and they will be more likely to cancel, which is why it's so important to follow up with your leads, right? Everybody write this down. Follow up with leads faster. Follow up with leads faster. So if you have a lead that's interested in your coaching program and you're in the DMs with them, your goal is to move that person through the levels of leads as fast as possible. So if they're cold, you want to warm them up. If they're warm, you want to get them to hot. And when they're hot, you want to get them on a call immediately. So taking too long to respond to your prospects is the first biggest mistake that you can make as an online coach, taking people through the levels of leads. The second biggest mistake is treating hot leads like cold leads. So this is a little bit more of an advanced concept, but let's say that you get like a super hot lead, right? Somebody that messages you about like working with you in your coaching program. You're like, and you're running a 14-day challenge. Actually, this is actually a good example. Let's say you're running a challenge, like a 14-day challenge, or you're running like some sort of challenge to attract clients for your program, or you drop an ebook post and you're like letting people know about this free ebook. And then somebody messages you this big, long message about how they need a fitness coach and they need you to change their life. And then you just send them the ebook and you piece the fuck out. Like you literally just left money on the table. And there's so many online coaches that are afraid to jump at like really helping people because they want to like give value first. But if somebody sends you a long message that says that they want your help, or if somebody sends you a message saying that they're looking for a coach and you don't book that call and you let that lead cool off, like you're treating that hot lead like a cold lead, and that's not the way to go. So if you're treating hot leads like cold leads and you're not jumping at opportunities, you're going to be moving backwards in the sales process instead of forwards, right? Now, the third biggest mistake that you guys can make in the DMs, progressing people through the level of leads, is leaving closed-ended loops. Meaning that like when you're in the DMs with a potential prospect and you just make statements, not ask questions, you don't give them anything to respond to, okay? So if you're in the DMs with a potential client and you are like talking to them about their fitness goals and you just make statements without asking questions, then you're not giving the lead anything to respond to. And if the lead doesn't have anything to respond to, it's going to be hard to engage in the conversation. And if it's hard to engage in the conversation, the likelihood of them responding is slim to none, which is why some of you guys are getting ghosted. All right. So taking too long to respond, treating hot leads like cold leads, and leaving closed-ended loops. So you're not asking questions when you're in the DM. You're literally just like making statements and not really giving them anything to respond to. Boom. That's fucking it, online coaches. That's it. Those are the 5 levels of leads. I hope this helps, guys. So just a quick little recap. We've got number 1, complete stranger. Number 2, a cold lead. Number 3, a warm lead. Number 4, a hot lead. And number 5, a buyer. Obviously, the goal is to get more people to become buyers. Like that is the goal. We want more people to become buyers, right? If you're listening to this podcast right now and you would like some help turning strangers into buyers, then you need to join the 10K Coaching Academy. If you would like some help converting strangers into buyers, then you need to join the 10K Coaching Academy. In the 10K Coaching Academy, we teach you lead generation systems that are easy, that are simple, that don't involve sending 100 cold DMs a day. We make it simple and easy for you in a way that actually works. Guys, we've helped 92 online coaches break $10,000 a month. That's not a joke. Like, that means that the program works. If we've helped 92 people have done this, like, it's just a no-brainer. So if you want to be the next person to break $10,000 a month and learn how to take people from complete strangers into buyers, DM me 10K on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll reach out to you to see if I can help. Guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you guys have the best day of your entire life. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Change Lives, Make Money on the Trainer podcast. Hope you guys got some value today. I hope you guys have the best day of your entire life, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.